Shalom. In this week's Parasha, Parashat Pinhas, Rav Avram Kook asks a beautiful question. He says, after the events where Pinhas saved Klal Yisrael as a result of his zealous, the question is, why did Hashem say after Lachen emor hineni noten lo et beriti shalom? Say therefore, I grant you my covenant of peace. Why? As a result of him being zealous, why did he receive being a covenant of peace? Why did he establish his covenant of peace with Pinhas? Rav Avram Kook says, if you look in Masechet Berachot, you'll see that there, Rabbi Gamliel, he was tasked with composing a beracha for laminim, for a beracha in order to destroy the heretics. But he himself did not want to compose a beracha. The question is why? Why not him? Secondly, he chose Shmuel HaKatan. Why did he choose Shmuel HaKatan? The answer is as follows. If we look in Pirkei Avot, Shmuel HaKatan is the one who mentions, he says, Benofel oivecha al tismach, quotes Mishle, that when your enemy falls, do not be glad. That itself is the power of Shmuel HaKatan. That is why Rabbi Gamliel did not feel comfortable composing the beracha for laminim, and why he felt comfortable tasking Rabbi Shmuel HaKatan to compose the beracha. Because generally, anytime there's a zealousness within ourselves, we have a personal interest invested in it. Naturally, when somebody is against us, we want to naturally respond to them with our own anger and our own fear. So for us to be able to separate our nature from L'Shem Shamayim is extremely hard. And generally, most machloket that we see amongst the Klal Yisrael, it's very simple, defined by the ego. And for that reason, Rabbi Gamliel, not to say Has v'Shalom that he didn't have an ego, but he was fearful that maybe when he was going to compose a beracha for laminim, that he actually had a personal interest to see the fall of his enemies. And that itself was a good enough reason to negate him from composing the beracha. While Shmuel HaKatan, he was so L'Shem Shamayim that when he composed the beracha, he did it mamash for Hashem's sake. He had no joy in seeing his enemies fall. That is a deep yesod for us, and that's his yesod to Pinhas. Parashat Pinhas is teaching us that if somebody is acting zealous, but mamash Hashem Shamayim, then that will lead to peace. What doesn't lead to peace is when there's a machloket that's not L'Shem Shamayim. It happened to me once where I was sitting in shul, and I had a black hat on, and I took off my black hat and I put it on the table. And somebody came up to me and they said, you should take off your hat. Whose hat is this? He said in front of everybody. Could you please take it off the table? I got a little bit embarrassed and I took it off. I got nervous. And I asked him, how come? What did I do wrong? He says, it's halacha. I took it for granted, but then I started thinking, what halacha? In the Shulchan Aruch, I haven't seen it. In the Mishneh Torah, I haven't seen it. Where I was curious to know where he got this, where is his mekor? So I asked him, and he said, it's a remez berashi shulchan domen lemizbeach. And I remember that time I was doing daf hayomi, and it was Masechet Chagiga, the last daf, where it talks about that a person who has guests, it's as if he brought a korban to the mizbeach. So that's what it means, shulchan domen lemizbeach. And it clicked in my head, and then I was laughing within myself that this person embarrassed me in front of everybody for something that's not even brought down in the Shulchan Aruch. That just was off. And to me, that is a perfect example of a machloket shelo l'shem shamayim. That is a perfect example of being zealous for oneself. That's not being zealous for Hashem. While on the flip side, now, every single time where I try again, of course I've failed multiple times, but I always try to ask myself that any single time when somebody says something, and they could be wrong, it could be halachically off, or it could be like the stam in the Shulchan Aruch, and not like the yesh. It could be like, the ultimate, the best path to take within the Shulchan Aruch, but this person is going like B. If I'm going to speak up and show him why he's wrong, am I doing it L'Shem Shamayim, or am I doing it for myself? And that itself is a deep, profound question that everybody should be asking themselves anytime there is any sense of machloket, or anytime you feel you have a need and to express your halachic opinion or your hashkafic opinion on something. Are you doing it kamo Pinhas, kamo Shmuel Hakatan? Are you doing it l'shem shemayim, or are you mamash doing it for yourself? B'ezrat Hashem, may we all truly do things l'shem shemayim, kamo Pinhas, kamo Shmuel Hakatan, and that mamash will be a beret shalom. Shabbat shalom.